Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to everybody, and welcome to day two. Today, we are talking about the edible Eden, the gardens that feed, and I want to welcome you to this exciting event. This is day two, but before we start, I would love to ask you what blew you away from day one when we were talking about our wildlife gardens. So you may have watched the replay, you may have watched the replay here on Facebook, you may have watched the replay or listened to the replay on the podcast and or now on our YouTube. We've reinvigorated our YouTube channel. So that is where you can listen if you are not able to join us live. There's so much great information and golden nuggets to really kickstart your outdoor classrooms this summer. And today we're going to specifically be talking about really gardens of Eden and creating these gardens that feed. So there are so many different places to start, but I wanted to first start and just tell very quickly the story that took me to the place of kind of creating these four different types of teaching gardens. And many of you know this story, some of you don't know, but I just want to, it sort of gets us to know each other. And again, I want to make this into an environment where we feel like we are chatting with our tea and at a coffee shop. So, a little bit about where the four types of teaching gardens came from. Again, this was when my children were in preschool and kindergarten, and we had this desolate courtyard in front, right in front of the front door of our school, and I thought, that should be an outdoor classroom. But at the time, I was able to coordinate a lot of the educators and teachers and families. We made a work day, and this outdoor space was transformed into a robust outdoor classroom with this whole community coming together. And I was able to volunteer my time and get kids outside and actually using the space. But what I really learned was educators didn't really know how to use the space. And that was so interesting. But the why, which is what we're talking about all this week, why these spaces are so important to incorporate into our child's lives, into their day, and where they're spending their time is at school. And if they're not spending their time at school, maybe they're being homeschooled, and maybe we can transform our backyards into these incredible spaces. So I went out on a hunt and I went out to research what is out there. And what I found was these four different camps of people that were just focused on certain types of gardening. And therefore, one of them was what we talked about yesterday, which was the gardens that attract wildlife. And those were the folks that were like in the National Wildlife Federation. They really were just focused on attracting animals. And the second one, which is today, which is the gardens that feed. And again, many gardens, edible gardens, kitchen gardens, maybe just the focus on that aspect. The next one was I found people that were just focused on gardens that were beautiful. And so they just wanted to grow flowers and whatnot. So that was another very separate type of camp of people. But then I thought, what about mud kitchens and water walls and fishing bridges and all of the music walls? What about all those type of things that may be in outdoor spaces with children? What would they be under? So I call those the gardens as outdoor learning stations. So we'll be talking about that with a specific day just for that as well. And so today we're just talking about the gardens that feed. And today's topic, we're calling it the edible Eden. And so I want to also tell you a very quick story about last summer. And last summer, I pretty much was ready to give up on growing food. It had rained so much, and I was sort of I wouldn't call myself an expert gardener. I wasn't, I had planted vegetable gardens year after year after year, but had never really learned kind of the tricks of the trade, so to speak. And I would grow gardens, and I would get a tomato here and there, and I'd be able to make a salad and whatnot. But and so I was really ready to give up because last year the pests came and the bunnies came and everybody came to eat my garden when I there was nothing left. So I was like, forget it. So, but I realized, my goodness, I have the Secret Gardens outdoor classroom, and the Gardens That Feed is all a part of it. So I really have to decide, yay or nay, am I going to incorporate this or not? And thankfully, I did. And so I decided to jump in with 2 feet. And what I did was I decided to become a gardenary consultant. So I paid for a huge course, and taught myself and teaching myself through the course and information from the course really the proper way to garden in this method of gardening. So I figured, okay, if I'm going to be teaching other people how to garden, I should really become my own consultant. So that's exactly what I did. So I am so excited about this journey to share this new expertise that I have been practicing in my own outdoor classroom, and ready to share it with you. So, my first question for today is, why gardens that feed? Why is it so important to incorporate this type of garden into our outdoor classrooms? So, when I say outdoor classrooms, I also mean it could be in your backyard, it can be anywhere that you want it to be. Um, so what are the benefits of these? And I interchangeably use kitchen gardens, edible gardens. What is the benefits of these type of gardens with kids? So there are, let's see, I think I have 6 benefits that I want to talk about today. And so the first one is the educational opportunities. So planting and maintaining a kitchen garden can actually teach kids about biology, ecology, and the environment. So they learn at a very young age, hopefully that you've started this garden when they are very young, where food comes from. I've had kids come to the Secret Gardens and they laugh because they're like, wow, that's a cucumber. Don't we buy the cucumber at the store? So again, as they get older, we can introduce plant growth, photosynthesis, and really the opportunity and the importance of soil health. And that's going to be the trick of the trade, right? So adding these edible gardens into your outdoor classroom can be also used in all types of subjects. So at the most recent Massachusetts Environmental Education Conference, I went to a workshop, and they were talking about their gardens that feed and their edible garden, and how they incorporate into their French classes, their high school French classes, and how they incorporate what they would plant as carrots, all different colors, and that they had to then talk about those carrots in French in all different colors. So it makes it hands on, it makes it real, it makes it purposeful. So it's far more exciting than just giving worksheets and whatnot, but a real hands on approach, which is number 2, which is hands on. I think all 4 of these types of gardens provide hands on learning. They also provide experiences where children can just get out of the classroom and they can engage physically with the subject matter that they are learning about. But at the same time, they're also in the gardens that feed. They're digging, they're planting, they're watering, and they're really enhancing their own understanding of the natural world. So, number 3 takes us to children gaining healthy eating habits. So when you'll be amazed that when children are actually growing their own food, they're so curious about what it tastes like that they'll actually be more apt to taste it. And that will encourage better eating habits and an appreciation for nutritious meals. So that's the beauty, is when we can plant our own food, we can harvest our own food. We can grow our own food and then harvest our own food, and then take that right into the kitchen and create nutritious meals from that. So there's also so many different educational pieces that you can pull into that, just making menus, making the mathematics that go into putting a meal together and measuring and whatnot. So it very, very, very exciting piece for that. Number four is the Gardens That Feed can really enhance responsibility and patience. And I bet you can guess where the patience comes from. So, taking care of a garden teaches kids that responsibility that they need to tend to plants regularly. So, I was out in my garden just today. Was it today? This morning, actually. I was out in my garden. I noticed that some of my cucumber plants, which is a big vine, was not shooting up on the trellis that I had put there for that particular plant to grow up. It had started trellising on the plants, which was not a good thing. So I had to retrain it to go up the trellis. But just that, just visiting your garden, seeing how they're doing, seeing and right now when we're videotaping this, we are going from a cool weather crop into a warm and hot weather crop and all the different what's happening in the garden. And this is something that we are teaching in the Exploring Nature in Summer masterclass. Specifically in this particular module, we'll actually talk at great lengths about what is a cool weather crop, what is a warm weather crop, what do we plant when. And educators who are participating in the masterclass will get PDFs and lists and tips and tricks for transitioning these gardens for each season, what to plant when and how and so on and so forth. So, but all of this is enabling us to educate children about responsibility and patience. And that the patience is that they're going to plant a seed in the ground and it's not going to happen right away. But over time, all of a sudden, they're going to get a bean. And all of a sudden, they're going to make these connections like, whoa, I just planted that, and look at that, it's growing. So it's so exciting. And then the other day, we had so many beans and peas growing that the kids were picking them off the vine, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And one little girl goes, I love these. They taste wonderful. So she was so into it and so excited about just being able to pick it off the vine. So, and a memory, what a memory that is to have that for children. So it's our responsibility to create the environment where children can have those experiences. So number five is that the benefits of creating a garden that feeds, an Eden, is this connection to nature. So spending time in the garden fosters a deeper connection to the environment. Kids learn about an appreciation, they respect nature, and they're creating that relationship, which I'm saying over and over and over in all of these gardens. They're really creating that relationship. And that is in turn making them environmentally conscious. So you will notice that we are getting more storms lately. You'll notice that the heat, our earth is heating up. So it's our responsibility to educate and teach and advocate and teach our children to become advocates for nature and the environment so we can save our earth. And I truly, truly, truly believe that it is our responsibility, and that is one of the things that we can do to not only save the earth, but to also save our children. We have so many children that are obese and heavy and suffering from anxiety that when they go out into nature, this is we're saving each other here. All right. Number 6 is physical activity. So as I said before, gardening promotes physical activity. So no matter what age you are, my mother is 91 and she is still gardening. And I think that is what her secret sauce is, whether she knows it or not, that she is out there sitting on her stool and she's digging, she's planting, she's pulling weeds. And all of that changes our body chemistry and promotes such wonderful endorphins and whatnot. And oh, there's so much research around this. So it's not only if you're 91 or you're 2, it's going to enhance the physical activity. That connection to nature is all beneficial in our all types of gardens, but especially in our gardens that feed. It's also for children, again, all ages. It's developing those motor skills and, pulling something off of a vine, digging. All of those are motor skills that we need to enhance and keep enhanced. Um, all right. Oh, there's quite a few more I didn't realize. So we have number 7, which is community building and bonding. So there's nothing better than having a garden that feeds and to really think about how that particular garden can be a catalyst to building your community. So whether you have farm to table events at your school or your program or your home, or you have an event or just the act of working together, like in our garden at my children's elementary school way back when, it was something that we were all doing together that brought the community together. So this is such a huge thing that is so simple that can easily bring folks together. And I will say over and over and over again, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be curious, kind, willing to make those changes. Number 8 is stress relief and mental health, which I talked a little bit about in the physical activity and but stress relief. So spending time outdoors and engaging in gardening activities can reduce and improve mental health. There is, if you notice that when you're stressed, the best thing that you can do is actually go out into your garden and just start weeding, start moving plants around, just start tending the garden. All of a sudden, you will notice that that stress has dissipated and that your mindset has shifted tremendously. Um, all right, number 9 is creativity and curiosity. So, gardening stimulates the curiosity and encourages kids to ask questions. So, that flower there, what type of flower is that? So, in the Exploring Nature in Summer Masterclass, we talk about leaves, roots, and flowers. And these 3 types of plants are the foundation of what we actually put into the garden. Then we also talk about what can we plant during what time so our garden will be successful. There's nothing worse than planting something and then you're the one leading it and all of a sudden everything dies. That is not that This is why we are here. We are here to support you in the process so you will have a successful harvest with your children in your outdoor classroom. So, and all of the benefits are enormous. The creativity, the curiosity. Well, how is that plant growing? Why is that plant bigger or smaller? Or what should I plant around it to keep the pests away? All of those questions are answered in our Exploring Nature in Summer Masterclass. And that kicks off on July 3rd. We're very excited. All right, number 10, sustainability awareness, which I think I did touch upon, and just learning the importance of sustainable practices such as composting, water conservation, organic gardening. So again, all the tips and tricks for how do you water your garden and how can you really do that in a sustainable manner. And again, there's just so many other pieces to that as well. And really looking at lessons that can empower your children to be environmentally friendly. And so when they grow, that they too can be making friendly choices. And it's a domino effect. So we can affect one life, and that life can affect another one, and another one, another one, another one. So that's my hope here, is that kids can really truly have a rewarding experience inside these gardens that feed, and that they're successful. So we did get a couple questions here, and in terms of really looking at the why behind planting gardens that feed. So if you are thinking about growing a garden that feeds in your backyard or your outdoor classroom, there's a bunch of questions that we want to ask ourselves before doing that, because it can be a big undertaking, and you do want to make sure that this particular type of garden is successful with your children, especially. So, question number one: what is the primary goal of your garden? Are you aiming to enhance food security? Is there a focus on community building? Um, are you aiming to create yet another teaching garden? So, question number two: who will benefit from this garden? So, is it going to be your community? Is it going to be the children that you're working with? Is it going to be your family? Who's going to benefit? Question number three: what educational objectives do we have? Are you looking to teach sustainability, gardening practices? Are you looking to incorporate your curriculum into the garden that feeds? And how can you incorporate learning opportunities for children and adults? So the how is in our Exploring Nature in Summer Masterclass. If you want to learn the how and how to implement all of these types of gardens into your summer, that is where we have all the answers in our Exploring Nature in Summer Masterclass. It is dynamite. All right. So, how will this garden support environmental sustainability? So, you want to ask, what methods will you use to make the garden eco-friendly? How will you address the soil health and water conservation? So again, we talk all about soil health and how to do that in your outdoor space, because again, we want this to be a successful experience, not only for you, but for the children that you're working with. Again, last year, oh my goodness, I was ready to give up because it was such a disappointing experience, because I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants, thinking, I know what I'm doing. I'll just grow this. I'll put this in the ground. And I didn't check the soil. I didn't know about plant families. I didn't know about seasonal planting. I was planting everything at the wrong time, thinking, okay, if it's in the store, then it must be time to plant it. So I was ignorant, and that has shifted because I have educated myself on a system that works, that is flourishing. So if you've seen some of the pictures in the Instagram, that's a great place to look. Also, I'm teaching the garden. I'm teaching the course from my garden, so you will see it as well. Um, all right. So another question is, how will the garden contribute to the mental and physical wellness of your students and or your community? So again, talking about the activities that can be included to promote the health benefits. How to make the gardening a welcoming and safe space, not only for your young children, but maybe opening it up to the community. What does that look like? What do you need to add to your outdoor space? And again, another huge question is, what resources and support will be needed? So, what kind of funding? Do you need funding? Do you need donations? Do you need to create a budget and all of that? How can we recruit and maintain volunteer participation? If I'm at a school, there's not a summer program, how will the garden that feeds be taken care of over the summer? So all of these challenges and questions, again, are answered in our community. So final question is, what challenges might we face, and how can we overcome them. So one of the challenges is we are moving from a cold weather season crop to a warm and hot season crop, and we talk about that in our masterclass. So you would think, oh my goodness, it's the garden's dying. But no, we talk about the plants that need to go into the garden currently. And it's exciting. It's exciting to be like, I guess for me, it's exciting because things are growing and they're flourishing because we're learning. And so excited about that. Um, so here we go. Call to action. What I would love for you to do today, if you are watching the replay, if you're watching today, I'd love to hear your garden, your story, your garden that feeds story. If you want to call it a kitchen garden, a garden of Eden, a garden that feeds, a garden that's an edible garden. I want to hear your story. I want to hear your I want to hear your challenges. I want to hear your wins. I want to hear your story. So I would love for you below this video to share a little bit about your story. If you have a picture of your outdoor classroom and the gardens that feed, I would love for you to post it below this video. Ask a question. I will be answering all questions, and I will check and would love to see what questions that you have. If you have any questions about the masterclass, that starts on July. We're having a kickoff that starts on July 3rd, and from 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time, and that's going to be via Zoom. And it's a hybrid course. There are some dynamite. So there's four modules, and each module will be based on one of the four types of gardens, and specifically what do we do in that particular garden during the summer months. And we have created 4 seasonal master classes where we have looked at these 4 types of gardens during different seasons. So right now we're focused on the really creating a beautiful summer garden that feeds. And it's exciting. It's exciting to troubleshoot and figure out how to make that feasible. But the goal being also to combine it with maybe some other gardens and maybe an event that you might have in your outdoor space, and how can you pull in the things that you're growing into that event that you might be having in your outdoor classroom this summer. So many possibilities, so many wonderful options. But again, if you would love to join us in the Exploring Nature in Summer Masterclass, and you have any questions, put them below this video. The other thing I want to note is on July 9th, we are hosting Angela Hanscom, who's the author of Balanced and Barefoot. She will be coming into our circle community and is joining us for a Q&A to talk about her book. And I decided that why don't we open this up to the greater community? So all of our circle members, they're inviting their parents into this. So, and I'm inviting all of you. So if you are listening and you want to learn more from the book Balanced and Barefoot, that really speaks to the why outdoors. And if you want to meet Angela yourself, go to our homepage at our website, Outdoor Classrooms, Outdoor-Classrooms www.outdoor-classrooms.com, and on the homepage you'll see a banner, and get on our list, and I will be sending out the link to everybody. So I look forward to learning more from you, and again, post your pictures, post your questions, and I will see you tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye.